Hello, my name is Dr. Sandra Maria Anderson. I am the CEO and founder of Love Gardens Ministries International, which is a therapeutic mentoring program. And it gives me so much joy to do what I do because I hold two positions in this space. One, a survivor of human trafficking from the age of 11. And two, now as a doctor of education, working in community care and counseling, marriage and family therapy. I have the pleasure and privilege of working with Lynn. So this topic is complex and needs comprehensive trauma-informed care. It's complex because we're not just dealing with the act and the crime of human trafficking and sex trafficking. We're also dealing with attachment wounds that happen before the trafficking incidents in my life. And then we're dealing with the culture. Yuri Brofenbrenner, psychologist in Germany, spoke about the chrono being time, the micro being the home, and on and on. He talks about how the ecological model plays a huge role and how we understand and how survivors make meaning of their traumatic experiences. The best recovery is a holistic recovery. I was taken out of trafficking, but I needed trafficking taken out of me. I needed the experience that I went through, the horrific, dehumanizing experience of trafficking, to be taken out of me. I needed the second rescue. I remember getting out of my trafficker's home, almost 13 at this time, placed into the Department of Children and Families, DCF, and then shelter homes and foster care, and on it went until I stopped packing because I never knew where I was going to move with the next blow of the wind. Survivors need the second rescue. It's not enough to provide food and clothing, although those basic needs are essential to recovery as well. But we need trauma-informed care to understand them at the stage of their human development. If they're children, that we need to understand that we have many approaches to help them express themselves safely, to regain safety inside their bodies. Imagine, if you will, something scurrying under your door at your home. What would it be that would cause you to stop cooking, maybe stop watching TV or playing a family game? Think about it for a moment. Would it be a mouse? Would it be a spider or a palmetto bug? Would it be a snake? What would it be to make you stop everything right there and say, I need that out of my house? And until that's gone, and I need to see it on the other side of the door before my nervous system begin to calm and regulate itself again. And I liken that to trauma. I liken that to sexual abuse. Childhood sexual abuse in our country, the numbers are horrific. And we need to know this because oftentimes we don't tell, we don't report. Some of us will take the secret to the grave because the element of shame plays a central role in our recovery or lack of it. And that bug, if you will, that scurried under the door, I liken that to shame because when that bug comes in, we can't sleep. It's hard to eat. It's hard to continue to cook, watch TV, or play a family game. And that's because the brain knows it's there somewhere. And because the brain cannot understand or make meaning of how it's reacting to the trauma, it being your central nervous system, it's reacting to that trauma, you stay on hypervigilance. And sometimes it's the inverse, hypovigilance. So we work with children, families, and the entire community where I begin programs for support groups, because we need a comprehensive approach that is trauma-informed, that can help us identify what scurried under our door, what touch scurried under the door of our childhood, what words, what rejection, what emotional, physical, or mental abuse scurried under the door, but we were maybe too young to understand it. Where did it go? I just know I feel it, and I don't feel a sense of calm and peace anymore. And I'm losing me. I'm losing my sense of creativity. I'm losing my childhood. And in my life, that's exactly what happened. And what scurried under my door after being touched. And by the way, trauma oftentimes, when it comes to sexual trauma, doesn't start in the street. It starts in our very home. Many children that have been touched sexually are touched by someone they know. But we don't say a word because we assume the blame, we assume the shame, and we go silent because no one could ever know what happened that day. And we stay locked up until we feel safe enough to explain, this is what happened to me. And the more we talk about it, the more we feel safe. And the more we talk about it, the more we give way to expanding our ability to regulate. What scurried under my door, I can begin to make meaning of it. It is not my fault. It was not your fault. That's the first thing. Number 2, coping skills. We teach coping skills before we draw out the narrative in our survivors. So we teach those coping skills of mindfulness, journaling, drawing, artwork. Creativity is often the soothing medicine over the madness of what happens to us in human trafficking. Recovery from sexual trauma is possible, complete recovery, but the modality must be trauma-informed, given from a very kind and compassionate place on a loving and unconditional positive regard platform. We need to embrace more love, more understanding, and give survivors control. Ask them questions. Don't tell them. Give them the control and the choice to choose to start practicing those coping skills of getting back their sense of agency and autonomy. Together, we can make this world a better place, a safer place for our children and for generations yet unborn. The complexity of trauma requires a comprehensive approach, body, mind, spirit. So we come from a lens that is biopsychosocial and spiritual. Bio meaning your biology, your physiology. Psycho means your psychology. Social mean how are you matriculating through society. And spiritually it's your belief system. What is your core beliefs? Some people can see a black cat and all they see is a black cat, but some people see it as bad luck. Some people see it as good luck. The way we make meaning matters to the way we recover. And the way we recover is highly dependent on our teachability and our connectivity with the practitioner. Our teachability, our ability to be teachable, our ability to connect and feel safe with the practitioner and our willingness to share our traumatic experiences, to desensitize that nervous system, to make you feel safe inside again. And lastly, know that you're not alone. We're here, and we're here to service you and to see you through. In our society, therapy is often stigmatized, but the impact of childhood sexual abuse, of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and human trafficking among children, youth, and adults can have long-lasting consequences, leaving us locked up, leaving us afraid, fearful, frozen. We need the comprehensive approach of a trauma-informed lens that is kind, that is loving, and that is understanding. Today I'm grateful because I didn't think I would see 20 years old during that time in my life, because something in my head was telling me the next thing, the next trauma, the next news is gonna finish the job that my traffickers didn't finish. So my fight or flight in the reptilian brain short-circuited everything else from the limbic and the prefrontal cortex in my mind. And not until I got myself in control by purposefully using my body, be it Pilates, Kung Fu, or other forms of martial arts, I began to feel safe in my body again. I began to be able to control the autonomic processes. And then it began to move towards the limbic and then the prefrontal cortex, where now I'm able to rationalize automatic thoughts, automatic negative thoughts. I'm able to rationalize my thoughts about anything because everyone looked like a threat. Even years later, everyone and everything looked like a threat to me that left me fearful and locked out of my own life. I am so grateful that we are taking charge right now. Because the younger we begin to apply this trauma-informed modality, the second rescue, and other evidence-based approaches, we're able to save these children from a lifetime of negative outcomes. Recovery is possible, and it must be done with compassion and unconditional positive regard. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. And thank you for allowing us to share our knowledge and our experience so we can take back our communities and our homes and our families, because human trafficking doesn't start out on the street. Oftentimes it's a broken family structure, and we need to bring our families back together with understanding and love and the ability to move from rupture to repair quickly. But we can only do that with effective counseling and therapy. At the age of 11, I went in. At the age of almost 13, I was taken out. But because the trauma experience was never taken out of me and I didn't receive the second rescue, I re-victimized for most of my life. That doesn't have to be you. That doesn't have to be our children. We need the second rescue. Trauma-informed care that's culturally competent, culturally relevant, and culturally humble. I want to thank you. And if you need more information, please contact me at sandramariaanderson.com. And I look forward to serving you and working with you for generations to come to make our world a safer, kinder, loving, and compassionate place. Thank you, and God bless you.